So as we come into the unit, on the passenger side, there's a cabinet, and there's a shelf in the middle of that so that there's plenty of room for canned goods and pots and pans and things like that. Below that is a convenience strip, and plugged into that is a 5,000 BTU window air conditioner. That's more than enough for this unit. After all, it is only 39 square foot. Then we have the sink. It has a hand pump. The water supply from that hand pump is in the cabinet directly below the sink. And then there's another faucet, and that's where the city water taps into. If you hooked up a garden hose to the campsite water supply, the only place that goes to is this faucet and to this sink. There is no gray water tank, so the water drains outside through a hose, and if necessary by local laws, then you'd have to have an external gray water tank or a bucket to catch that water in. I have a gas one dual fuel stove, propane or butane. I think it's something like 13,000 BTUs. It's a pretty hot burner, and that's why I bought it. And alongside that is my drinking water supply. That's a gallon and a quarter worth of drinking water. Again, below that, I've got some storage area. On the unit on the right-hand side is the jerry can for the sink that holds 7 gallons, and on the left is a place where I keep my propane and butane in my trash bag and things like that. Just front of the counter is a 34-inch wide place to sit. That's part of the convertible dinette. I didn't order a bed, pardon me, not a bed, but a dining table, because I wanted the option of putting in my own, because I really don't sit at a table that much. And then one of the 2 windows, all right? So when I have the Mr. Buddy on, I open up that a crack and vent that. Here's the overhang. Currently I'm using that 2-foot overhang not as a bunk. I took the cushions and I stored them inside my closet. And I'm going to use this on this trip strictly as a shelving unit. And you can see on this 2-foot overhang, there's a handle. Well, that handle pulls out the shelf, and it drops into place on these sidebars, so that that area turns into a 4-foot wide by 74-inch long bed. And I guess certainly one person can sleep up there comfortably. 2 thin people could sleep up there. And then they could use the bottom area, the 34 wide by 74-inch long bed for a 3rd person. So it's not too shabby. And this is, of course, is the little window is kind of useless because it doesn't slide open, and if it did, it'd be useless because my truck window doesn't slide open, but it's there. And the other sitting area and window and 2 lights. And I have a little DC fan I can hook up here. Then I have a storage unit here. If you open it up on the inside, the bottom shelf holds my porta potty, which I'm going to get rid of for this trip, and I'm going to use a 5-gallon bucket and a luggable loo toilet seat. Then there's a few other shelves where I can put my TV and my clothes and my toiletries, etc. Then I have my Costway AC or DC compressor refrigerator. I took out the dorm style refrigerator that came here because it's strictly residential, 110 volt, and I took out the microwave that came in here originally because I'm not going to need a microwave for this trip, and I replaced it with this AC/DC refrigerator. Now what the power draw is, I don't know, and that's going to be interesting. I know I had it plugged in to a single battery at the house, and it lasted for about 8 hours before the automatic low voltage sensor kicked it off. But I've got 2 105 amp hour batteries I bought at the same time, AGMs, running in parallel, so that should give me 100 amps of battery life before I get in trouble. Below that is another storage area. There's a tub in there that slides out, and I keep tools and junk in there. And then I have, below that, they put in like just a drop cloth, but behind that is my AC power cord, and sticking out of that is my 12 volt propane gas hose that goes outside to where I'll have my gas bottle hooked up, and also my AC to DC converter. And then behind this drop I have both of my batteries located in parallel, and there's room there where I'm eventually going to hook up an inverter, a charge controller for my 200 watts of solar energy panels there, and see if I can get a little more life out of my batteries with that solar arrangement. I don't know why I bought an inverter, because I'm sure not going to plug in anything in that. And that is my inside. Again, there's no vent on the top. I didn't want to have any kind of leaks coming from here, so I left that plain Jane. I'll have to rely on my two windows for ventilation. But that's my little Eureka 6-foot camper. If you went to look at an 8-foot camper, it's basically essentially the same, except the width of the seat here goes from 34 inches to 58 inches, so that you'd have a double wide sleeping compartment down here, and you could theoretically sleep 4 people. So that's my little Eureka. Like I say, it's not much, but boy, I sure do like it. And it was under $8,000 bucks, so I like it even more.